Okay. Now, recently Steve Promo talked to about making a container, a box, out of different colors woods. Only his had, the lid came off in the dark wood there. So I made one a little bit differently, and that's this thing here. All right. You can see it's got light wood, light wood, and the dark finial on top. The only difference is that I made it so that the finial is the lid, not this part. Now, that's just for make it look good, that people think you cut it out through there. Now, I'll show you how I did that and some of the advantages of doing it that way. Well, one of the advantages is when you're parting, you've only got this part here, you can hollow this out real easy. So you can hollow that out without too much trouble because, and I'll show you how I did that. Let me go to a diagram and I'll kind of explain it that way. All right, here's the diagram. That's what I'm trying to get to. Right out of there and there. Okay. So what you got is, this is the wood that I'm starting with. It's just a block wood. I've turned it around, but I've glued mounting blocks on either end. Here's my 2/3 mark. So I turn the shape I want, still with the mounting blocks, and then I part it off. Now once I parted it off, I use the mounting blocks to put it in a chuck. I then can hollow this out. So I hollowed it out, and then I glued the piece of the dark wood on. Now the advantage of doing it that way as opposed to gluing the wood on and then hollowing it is, when I cut through, I could use a parting tool and I got a little plug that came off and I smoothed it all out. Then once this is all done, and that's already been glued on, I set that aside, and now I do the lid. Let me think. Well, before I did that, I made a little groove or smaller diameter place for the lid to plug into. Then I put this in the chuck, and I turned, the lid's already turned the outside, I hollowed it out, I drilled a hole through here, and I put little lips on, smaller diameter lips that would fit exactly into the opening I put on the bottom. Let me just do a fit test until it works just the way you want it, okay? Then I turned it around and I put rubber jaws on my thing and put this in, mounted this way, parted this off, finished up the bottom, made the finial so they would plug in to there like I wanted it to. Right. Then I took this part and mounted in the rubber jaws and finished this, parted that off, finished the bottom. Now the bottom is finished, the top is finished, I just had to glue the two together. Now here's some tricks on gluing the top together. I'm going to talk to you about that. Okay. When you glue this thing back together again, line the grain up. See, if you look at that, you can see the darker wood, there's a grain in there, and it's all lined up perfectly. So it looks like this is an inlay as opposed to a solid piece of wood that goes all the way through. And people look at that, they can pick it up and say, oh, look, he hollowed the whole thing out through a little hole. Right? So that's my vessel, and it's finished in the bottom, like I said. Made it look pretty, and that's it. It makes it easier to hollow out, and I liked it that way. Anyway, thank you.